And we've discovered that she has saved Ontarians over $11 million in fines.
I mean, no country in the world welcomes visitors from everywhere else in the world as warmly and open-mindedly as Canada does.
We have become accustomed by the infiltration and osmosis of political correctness to exercise a kind of internal restriction on what it is, not what we think, but to say what we think.
A few weeks ago, our friends at the Democracy Fund presented yet another stellar event at the Canada Christian College in Whitby, Ontario. Entitled A History of Civil Liberties in Canada Part 2, the event was sold right out with hundreds more watching online. Now, if you missed the event, not to worry. We have compiled a highlight reel of the best moments. So, without further ado, let's kick off with Legal Eagle Alan Honor on the civil rights success stories that the Democracy Fund has achieved thus far.
I'd like to just tell you about some of the other cases we do. And I think this is actually the most important work we do. This is where we help individual people. My colleague, Adam Blake Gallipo, he's in court almost every day, fighting for people who have been charged criminally when all they really did was attend a peaceful protest in Ottawa or in Windsor. Or we have my colleague, Jenna Little. Jenna, I don't know if you're here, and I would hate it if somebody did this to me, but can you stand up for a second if you are here? There she is. Jenna leads, let me tell you just a little bit about Jenna. She leads a team of 4 paralegals here in Ontario. They're representing over 1,300 people. And we sat down and we did the math, because she's helping people with quarantine tickets, with masking tickets, with gathering tickets. And we've discovered that she has saved Ontarians over $11 million in fines.
Now, the keynote speaker was the always superb Conrad Black, a walking, talking encyclopedia when it comes to history. Check out some of his pithy quotes.
Canada actually, and it's hard to believe it today listening to all those claiming that we have a systemically racist society. For opposing that view, by the way, I was fired from the radio station 640, I forget what the letters are. In the old days, it was Ted Rogers Station. That wouldn't have happened with Ted. But I was fired, and my friend Mark Stein quit in solidarity with me because I said this was not a systemically racist country. And it isn't. It's one of the least racist countries in the world. There is... no country in the world welcomes visitors from everywhere else in the world as warmly and open-mindedly as Canada does. And there is no racism whatever in any system in this country. There may, and I guess there undoubtedly are, a few, very, very few isolated lunatics who could be called racist, but they aren't the system. They don't represent anyone, even themselves. I just want to set out a hopeful idea. I think, if we accept in general, I know I've waffled a bit and understated it and been unclear in what I think, but if we could get a general consensus, and the question was put, well, where do you start trying to make it better and fix it up? I believe we have to start in the schools. To me, the greatest irony in modern affairs in all our Western democracies is that we spend more and more and more on education and get less and less well-educated graduates.
And then there was Rex Murphy. Let's put it this way, folks. If Mr. Murphy can't make you laugh out loud, you might want to check your pulse. Check it out.
Everyone is familiar with the executive power to limit civil liberties. We just had COVID for 2 years, which was an iceberg going through the entire Charter of Rights and Freedoms. That's an exercise in the demolition of civil liberties. And then we had the Opportunistic Election and the Emergencies Act. That was bringing the guillotine down and shredding what little value the Charter did have. You're familiar with the abbreviation and amputation of civil liberties through the exercise of state power. But so what has this circus buffoonery of displaced erotica in Oakville have to do with civil liberties? Well, it has this, because it's an illustration of a very, very big current, and I want to get Conrad on this, that we've seen for 20 years, that in the Western democracies, where free speech is not officially throttled, and in which at their beginning was the most worshipped central cardinal tenet of the entire idea of democracy, we have become accustomed by the infiltration and osmosis of political correctness to exercise a kind of internal restriction on what it is, not what we think, but to say what we think. One of the things that is most worrisome about our system is that we have so much, in relative terms, comparative terms, so much comfort, so much ease, so much freedom from catastrophe and disaster, war, famine, the things that plague the majority of the countries of the world, and certainly are the entire canvas of history. I mean, even 3 or 4 generations ago in Canada, your grandfathers or great-grandfathers, great-grandmothers, great-grandma, they knew work, toil, exposure, danger, lack of health. Newfoundland, 1930s. We have got so cozy, we've got smug or lazy or condescending. We don't value the things that built the place we now live in at such a high level of civilization. Secondly, by a process that I can't fully analyze, we have allowed an ascension of entirely secular, I'm using that not in opposition to religion, but just as a definition, of secular assumed virtues to approach the level of sacrament. This trinity of diversity, inclusion, and equity is just a string of goddamn syllables. But when you hear people talking about it, it's like the 14th century, eremites visiting the Vatican. Listen, this is a very challengeable set of things. And because it's become so tight, and because the media does not do anything except applaud, support, and libel those who question it, we're approaching stages of lunacy that we're looking ridiculous in the rest of the world. Listen, we cannot have school boards continue to abandon the whole idea of education so that they give themselves the power to shape minds according to their tiny minds. That's the problem.
Bottom line, for those who couldn't attend live or online, don't fret. There will be another Democracy Fund event coming up in the near future. And as Billy Red Lions used to say, don't you dare miss it. Hey folks, check out the newest arrival to the Rebel News store. Yes, F is for Fidel and F is for Father. I mean, could it be? Yes, half this photo, the colored half, is Justin Trudeau. The black and white half is a young Fidel Castro. Wait now, or is it vice versa? It's so confusing. I'm a huge Forensic Files fan. Wouldn't it be great if we could have a piece of Justin's DNA and a piece of Fidel's DNA and put the rumor to bed once and for all? But in the meantime, we'll just have to walk around wearing this shirt, hinting at a great Canadian conspiracy. Or is it? In any event, if you want to get this shirt, folks, go to the Rebel News store and check this out. Type in our new discount code, that's SUMMER, SUMMER, and if you buy 2 unisex t-shirts, you get an additional one for free. What a deal. Like I said, Justin Trudeau, Fidel Castro, as they used to say on the ABC detergent ads, can you tell the difference? I can't tell the difference.